Haha, I have it. I have muted. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna mute it. Oh, he muted himself. Apparently. No. Yes. Okay, he's gone.
What?
Okay, never mind. He's back. He back.
Never went.
Oh, well, you disappeared for a second. Your microphone wasn't picking up anything. Anyway, it's about time we started. So, hello everyone, and welcome to the Kat Café, a friendly podcast streamed live on Twitch where we talk about lighthearted topics that will make you scratch your head, or wherever you scratch. Today's topic is communications. If you're asking in general, yes, it's communications in general. All kinds of communications.
General, yes.
Yes. I'm joined here by a new speaker called Spooky. Welcome, welcome.
It's the Spookums.
Spooky?
It's very quiet.
Yes.
I'm here.
Oh.
My microphone is bad.
Okay, that's fine. Well, welcome to the Kat Cafe. We're glad to have you on. And
Good to be here.
I'm also joined here by the great Squeebers, our amazing researcher.
Squeebers After Dark.
Oh no. Anyway, before we get there, every new speaker has a question that we ask them, Spooky, and we have to ask you your preference in terms of coffee or tea. The cafe offers both, but we ask you your preference. So, do you usually drink coffee or do you usually drink tea?
Coffee.
Coffee. Oh, hey, you guys. Yes. Oh, I also forgot. Last week we actually added a new role. If you prefer hot chocolate in terms against tea or coffee,
Oh yeah, hot chocolate.
yes, that is now a new role. So if you are listening and you would like the hot chocolate roll, please let me know. That is a new third option. So
Hold on, what about chocolate milk?
yeah, chocolate. The chocolate roll encompasses all kinds of chocolate. Just chocolate in general.
Well, I mean, you can't really compare hot chocolate and chocolate milk.
Well, true, but I'm not gonna make two separate rolls for. But
Because, I mean, obviously chocolate milk is far superior.
well, that's debatable, but okay. Anyway,
Is it though?
enjoy your new role, Spooky, and welcome to the cafe. We're glad to have you on.
Thank you.
Sure. So, today's topic about communications, we're going to be encompassing a few things, and if we're not able to cover everything tonight, we might be doing a part 2, because this is quite a drastic topic to cover. So, in terms of communications, what do you guys think you use the most? Do you guys usually text? Do you call? Do you have Messenger, Facebook, Instagram, whatever? What do you guys usually use to communicate with your family, friends, and etc.?
I don't know. I've lost myself. There we go. I dropped my phone.
All right.
Just
I
say
don't use much of anything really. I use text based, so like Facebook Messenger, Discord, things like that. I hate phone calls. Absolutely despise phone calls because over a phone call, people aren't bound by just the basic level of human etiquette.
What do
I
you mean?
guess because they know that there's a screen between you and them, so you punch them for being stupid.
All right. Interesting way of looking at it, I guess.
I feel like phone calls, or any like non-face-to-face vocal communication, they're just inherently different, anyways.
Mm.
Because when you're face-to-face, you read the other person, play off the mood, the atmosphere, things around you. You can see how the way their body is, the way their hands are. But when it's just a voice, all you have to go by is the tone of their voice. I don't like that. I don't like not to see somebody.
Oh, really?
But at the same time, and contradictorily, I hate things like face chat,
Oh,
Snap
FaceTime.
Time, whatever the hell those things are. Yeah, those things. Hate those.
So you just don't like voice in general?
I don't like talking to people.
Oh, okay. So you don't communicate, which
Leave me alone. Go away. We're gonna do a new podcast. It's just gonna be an hour of me sitting here in silence.
ASMR.
Squeeber's contemplative hour.
just staring at everyone, making them think about what they've done.
Just sit here and think.
Just
Don't think too hard though, because I don't want you to start talking. Just think somewhat.
Oh wow, thanks. I heard. That was painful. Okay, interesting. So what about you? Oh, should I call you Venom now?
Yeah, I should have told you that beforehand.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. So Venom, what do you usually use to communicate with your family or friends?
Usually text, because my thing I have is bad, and what Squeever said too. I don't like not being able to see their like emotion,
Okay, interesting.
even though text kind of completely just
Negates that.
I feel like text it has its own problems in its own special way, but at least now there's a certain
So
decorum with text. Like, people know when you text what certain things mean and how certain phrases and characters are supposed to be interpreted. So it's not quite as open-ended as just voice to voice. Because you talk on the phone with someone, they could be rolling their eyes and flipping you the bird from 2,000 miles away. But as long as they sound all chipper and happy, you'd never know. But in text, if you say you ask someone, hey, what's going on, what are you up to, and they just say NM space U question mark.
Oh my god.
That's shorthand for I don't care about you or this conversation.
What? I send you that all the time, and I don't mean that in that
hate
way. I'm
I
sorry.
despise it.
I'll stop. Okay, I noted. Noted.
Or the WYD for what you're doing.
Well, I send you that. Okay, now I just feel
I hate
bad.
that.
Now I just feel. What should I send you though when I'm talking to you?
Also, whenever someone says something and it's obviously a leading statement or question, like trying to get a response, and then the response is just LOL or IDK.
You're. I feel attacked. I feel personally attacked. I say all those things.
Squeebirds After Dark. The insult cast.
No, I have to admit, I am personally guilty of all those. So I have no bearings on the subject whatsoever.
I hardly help matters. Whenever I do text people, I try my hardest, because I know how people are going to take things, so I try my hardest to just mess with them while I'm texting.
Yeah.
Like, if someone needs an affirmation from me, like, hey, I'll be there at 5:30, is that all right? I'll send them just okay, AY, period.
Okay.
Because typically, when someone gets an okay period, they'll interpret that as, you're being short with them or you're frustrated.
Yeah.
I just love doing things like that because you generally can tell how someone is going to respond to text much better than you can, like a voice chat sort of.
Yeah. Well, usually, what I've noticed at least is that you need to be careful about that though, because yes, while you're saying that, well, what you're saying is true, but from my own experience, I've noticed that it can wildly vary from person to person. So what ... means to you can mean exclamation mark to another person. So you really need to be careful.
You mean to a psychopath?
Basically. No, I'm just saying that as an example. But like, maybe a squiggly face can be something good, and to someone else it can be something bad. Or a semicolon. Oh, semicolon 3 is always good, no matter where you are. But yeah, the way you text someone.
Colon closed parentheses.
Colon close. Oh, took me a while. But I do notice that the way you text someone radically changes, at least for me, from person to person. I'm not saying that I myself am a different person. It's just the way I interact with that person specifically seems to change from person to person because of who they are and how they respond to things. It's kind of a crash course, if you will.
What do you think would happen? Because obviously speech changes and dialects change, the way people communicate and form sentences changes, even over the decades. I mean, now we've got selfie in the Webster's Dictionary, what's next? But it always drives me insane when I'll play a game like, say, Fallout, and the whole idea of Fallout 4 is you've been in a refrigerator for 230 years. But then you pop your little head out onto the surface like a happy cabbage, and everyone still sounds like they're from Boston.
Boston.
230 years after a nuclear apocalypse, little roving gangs and marauders, and people still sound like they're from Boston.
Well,
No.
well, Venom, you okay?
I think so.
Just saying. You think if you went back 230 years, back to the 1800s,
Oh,
you'd
yes.
be able to understand half of what anyone said?
Oh, probably in America. Well, no, wait. Yeah. I'm confused. Sorry, I don't know my history as well. I'm an uncultured swine, and I don't know my American history that
Culture,
well.
dirty, filthy swine dog.
Well, I do know that at least in Puerto Rico, we always spoke Spanish most of the time. I believe there was a period where we didn't. I just forget where it was, but I know that for the longest time, ever since America and Spain and all that kind of stuff came, we've been speaking Spanish.
Actually, that's a good question that I've never considered before. In English, it has changed dramatically. Like, if you were to go back 200 years, 100 years, 50 years, hell. But let's say 200 years back to the early days after the founding.
Yep.
The way they spoke then versus the English we speak now is basically two different languages. You wouldn't be able to understand the majority of what they're saying back in the 1700s.
Yeah.
Is that the same for
Oh,
Spanish,
I am
German,
not the person to ask that. I do not know. I am not the kind of guy who
You
would
know
ask.
the
Just cause that's presumptuous.
think about like the history books. I'm sure you learned something.
Well,
back
yeah,
in the
I
good
mean,
old
I
days.
know we spoke Spanish, but it was like a very, very different Spanish. It was a much more
Yeah, but
eloquent
do you
Spanish.
think if a time traveler came from 1750 or 1800 from España, wherever the hell else they spoke Spanish back then, do you think you'd be able to understand him today?
Well, first I've asked him how he got there, considering it's in the past, not the future, that he came from. Second of
Time travelers can come from wherever they want.
well, yeah, but I would say how he got the machine, first of all. Second of all, I probably could understand most of what he's saying, but I probably couldn't grasp the entire thing. And actually, that's a good question too. Benham, where you're from, do you think that the dialect that you speak, like I know you're obviously you're in U.S., so you speak English just as Squeaker speaks English, but do you think?
It's racist.
All right, he might speak Spanish. I don't know, but but Venom, do you consider your English, at least your American English, and Squeaker's American English to be more or less the same, or do you notice any small differences?
We sound we speak the same. I know accents are not really part of the picture, but every like American has its own little like depending on where you come from, it has its own little like different tone of voice.
Mhm.
That's normal with everywhere else, but I know for a fact it's a huge thing in America.
Yes. So would you
I
say?
always thought it had to do with like geographic size. You know, America being so huge, it would make sense that different regions would sound different. But then you look at a place like England, this tiny little island nation, and you can drive 15 minutes in any direction and they'll sound completely different.
Yeah, it's like that in Puerto Rico too.
I don't get that. Is it like, are they just historically very insular when they were like little villages? They didn't travel much?
Puerto Rico at least is a cultural melting pot. We have all kinds of people there. I'm not sure how it is
Do
for
you think-
Venom.
With Puerto Rico, if you were to go to the west side of the island, they speak differently there than the east.
Oh yeah, we have different words for stuff and everything. I'm from the West. I know. Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Like,
I-
does the West, have they just always kept to themselves, or?
Again, it's like different cultures, and different cultures in Puerto Rico came at different times. So many things are very different in terms of anything from like nurture to nature is very different considering where the culture went, when and where the culture went to Puerto Rico. Because I know we have many people from, where is it from? From India and other places, and and we have people from Brazil, people from Africa, we have people from Australia, we have people. Hell, we even have Asians. So
Why does everyone want to go to Puerto Rico?
I don't know. It's a nice place, I guess. I mean, living in it isn't exactly super perfect, and the government isn't exactly the best. But we're not gonna get into that. But
I do notice you're saying from Asia and Africa and all that. Might it just be like, we really want to go to America, but we want to go somewhere that's a little bit warmer than America?
I don't. Probably because it was
Puerto
probably.
Rico, perfect.
Maybe it's because it's Spanish-speaking language. I know that Spanish is pretty common as well. It's not as popular as English, but I do know that Spanish is spoken a lot around the world. Maybe it's because of that. I don't know. Or maybe they just saw. Yeah.
Other than their native languages and English, because I imagine you'd probably know more about it than I do. What like big second languages are there throughout like Asia and Africa? Because I know all through Europe it's pretty much English, Dutch, German, and French. Not much in the way of Spanish, but are the southern countries, do they have more Spanish speakers?
I don't know, honestly. I know that a lot of Southern American languages, Southern American countries, speak Spanish as a second language, or at least as a primary language. I know that like Central America has a lot of Spanish-speaking countries: Mexico, El Salvador, Guadalajara. No, I think I'm not sure. Please do not quote me on this. I do not know my geographical location, but I know certain countries in the Americas, such as Guadalajara, Chile, Guatemala, Peru. No, Peru speaks Portuguese.
I like Portuguese. I'm not a big fan of Romance languages.
Portuguese
is a good one.
Yeah, no, Portuguese is a very beautiful language. What about you, Venom? Do you think, is there any language which interests you the most? Any that you think is interesting in the way of how they communicate?
Spanish probably is the most interesting one to me. It's just it's more like the fact that me personally, because I'm American, it's just different because like fast, at least the few people that I know that do speak Spanish, that I've heard speak Spanish, talk really fast when they're speaking Spanish.
Puerto Ricans.
Must be from Puerto Rico.
I was gonna say, I think he is Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
And so he's.
I'm actually not a big fan. Like, I know, and I always get flack for this, but I know that, like with English, there are different types of Spanish. There's different dialects. Like, Mexican Spanish is very different to Spain Spanish, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like Spain Spanish very much because it's very lispy, it's very fluent. I don't like that. I already don't like Romance languages, and I don't want to hear someone like Azul. And Mexican Spanish, I don't like it because it sounds. What the word for it? Alright, he's having a hard time.
I'm sorry, it's just I know exactly what you're talking about.
They are super lispy, aren't they?
Yes, they are. And I'm sorry to all my Spain fans if you're watching this. If I do have any Spain fans, I don't know, but I don't mean this in any bad way. I don't mean this in any negative way. Puerto Ricans have a worse Spanish than Spanish people do.
Puerto Ricans are just impossible to comprehend.
No, not only that,
tell you an entire story in 5 seconds.
Not only that, we also have we take English words and we keep them in English, but we say them with a Spanish accent. So instead of for example, in Puerto Rico.
God, you're terrible. You're like the Malaysians.
Yeah, more or less. But for example, we would say, instead of saying, I'm going to say, I am going to the parking, I'm going to say it in the right way in Spanish. Voy al estacionamiento. But what a Puerto Rican would say is, voy al parking. It's literally English. It's an English word in there. And instead of, okay, so you're saying you're reviewing a paper, right? So you're reviewing a paper and you would say, I am going to check this paper. And the right way to say that in Spanish is, voy a verificar este papel. But what Puerto Ricans say is, voy a chequear este papel. We mash together English and Spanish in a way where we make up our own words. It's insane. You
It seems
it's
like Puerto Rican's a very efficient language. Get all the information out there as quickly as possible.
yes, but we mash like we call it Spanglish because we literally sometimes just speak Spanglish.
But
It's
I don't like Mexican Spanish either because it sounds too
well, don't say it. Okay,
clipped.
okay,
It's almost the opposite of Spain Spanish. It's very clipped off. It
okay. That's
feels
just
like all
that's
the
just
words
your
are
own
too short.
opinion. That's just your own opinion.
No,
Cause
no, facts.
no. Because I'm pretty sure someone didn't like your dialect, you would say something back.
Nope, I don't care because my dialect is superior.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, Venom. I'm sorry about this. So, is there any way that that your English from where you're from is different to other parts of America? Say not just dialect, maybe the way you use words or something. Any certain
Like
words?
down here in the South.
Kind of like certain
Well,
words. Yeah. Go ahead.
He's broken again.
Oh, yeah. It might be my connection, honestly.
the only difference really in Wisconsin compared to other parts of America is the way that we say soda,
Oh, what's up?
which doesn't make
Yeah.
sense to me. I got lucky. I got put in the one part of. I was born in the one part of Wisconsin that doesn't say pop. I was born in Kenosha.
Okay.
Soda, not pop, which is like literally the only thing that's different other than the Canadian accent.
Yeah, I would say yeah, you're and I mean this in the most respectful way possible. I would say that the way you speak compared to the way Squeaver speaks, there's definitely a difference. There's a difference in pronunciation for certain words. And I have noticed that. I'm pretty sure you've noticed that of mine too. So,
It's kind of bled over for me because I was I've pretty much always been in the South, Kentucky, Maryland, but Texas, Mississippi. But my family's from Minnesota, so a lot of my speech habits I learned from my family rather than where I was. So even though I've lived here in the South, I've had jobs before where a customer would come up to me and speak to me for a moment, and then she'd go, "Y'all ain't from around here, is ya?" Like, yeah, no, I am. I'm not stupid.
Wow. Okay.
I've actually got two friends that live in Wisconsin.
Oh. Do they
And I always
speak?
make fun of them.
Wow. So, like, do you think that? How would that translate though to social media? Do you think there's a certain way that people speak when they speak through text that reflects similar to where they are? So, say, like, for example, Puerto Rican probably would obviously speak Spanglish, so we would combine Spanish and English through text too. It happens. Trust me, I know. And it screws your brain. But usually, when I see people from the U.S. and other parts of the world speak through text, they have certain dialects in text too, like some.
Oh, definitely.
Yes, exactly.
Like
So,
with the soda and pop thing. Like down here in the South, it's just Coke. There is no soda, there is no pop, it's Coke. You go to a restaurant that say, "Would you like Coke or water?"
Yeah,
And you
yeah,
say
you're
Coke, and
right.
They say, "Do you want Sprite, root beer, or Dr. Pepper?"
yeah, you're right though. You are right. I have noticed that.
But I've also noticed it's really obvious when it's English speakers from England or from Australia. But you'll get that occasional mum or
Oh yeah.
yeah, things like that. Just little words, little different pronunciations that they carry over into text.
Interesting. Yeah. I know what you're talking about perfectly. Well, I
Or from Minnesota, you'll get the people that type A at the end of
eh.
every sentence.
Wait, I'm sorry. Minnesota is higher north, right? Or is it? Like, is it?
Oh, Minnesota's. I mean, they got moose all over the place up there, don't you know?
Oh, so Minnesota's like right there
Basically,
next
little
to Canada.
Canada.
Oh, it's like next to Canada. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I just did not know it all. So don't come to me for geographical accuracy because I do not know. I just know that my little island is over water next to the little next
You've
to
only ever had to worry about one island.
yeah. I know it's next to that peg next to the U.S.
That's called Florida, you uncultured pig dog.
Yeah. So are there any? So I'm asking this to both you guys. Are there any dialects around the world that actually interest you to learn and like, or different dialects around the world that just kind of pique your curiosity? Other than
Absolutely.
yes, like which one?
Well, I love. It's not a dialect, but I love the entire German language. Dutch is okay, but it's a little more throaty than I'd like. But I love German because of just how painfully the entire language is.
Painfully, what, sorry?
Like, literal. Like, one word can be 15 syllables and have 30 or 40 letters in it. And it might just be describing, like, a bathroom, but the literal translation of their word will be, like, room which has water and the toilet in it.
Wow, and that's just one word.
Yeah, German words are psychotic. They have more syllables than most short stories.
Wow, that's interesting.
But as far as dialects go, I'm actually really interested in just the English dialects in England, not in the United States. United States dialects are.
What about
But the English ones, just because you, even just from city to city, you'll have entirely different ways of speaking, and you can tell where people are from, even on that tiny little island,
yeah,
just from how they speak.
yeah, that's very true. That's actually very true. Yeah, Puerto Ricans, just, you can go back and forth. Like you can just drive 15 minutes away, and it'll be like an entirely different country. It's weird.
Like I imagine how Puerto Rico is. Same for England. You can pretty much tell what city someone's from based on how. Whereas in the States, you might get the region, like, oh, you're from the South, maybe Texas, maybe Louisiana. But in England, you can be like, oh, you're from Yorkshire, or you're from Oxfordshire, or you're from Wales, or what.
Yeah. Interesting. So, what about you, Venom? Is there any dialect that interests you the most, or any language in specifically that interests you and how it works, or something?
No, not really. It's more the fact that interested in language, I'd want to learn it, and I'm not smart enough to learn another language. I can barely speak English.
That's true for many of us.
Yeah, I have a lot of trouble.
Well, I mean, that's fun,
So-
I guess. Yeah. Well, what about how you think people communicate when it comes to a very special topic, memes?
But
What about you, Venom? Do you think that there's like any memes that have changed over time or have a different meaning, or like how do you think people have evolved to communicate through memes?
It's a little weird, I'm not gonna lie. The fact that you can ask your friend something and if they send you back a picture of Obama's eyes, you just know that it means that they don't want to talk to you. Like,
Yeah.
weird.
I feel like there's quote unquote regional dialects even for memes.
How so?
Because when I think about it, I think of back when I first started becoming aware of memes existing, with like the Rage comics back in the day, and oh gosh, what ones? The little black and white, poorly drawn faces, like smug face, troll face.
Yeah,
things
Rage
like
comic.
that.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. You just brought back so many
I
years.
feel like there's regional differences even where memes originate. Like comics from like Newgrounds way back then.
Oh my god,
I
Newgrounds.
feel are very different from memes. Memes from Newgrounds are very different to memes from Reddit, memes from Facebook. Like,
4chan.
Don't even mention that. But Newgrounds memes, they were goofy, kind of trolly in that anonymous early 90s kind of internet way,
Yeah.
but they were generally more or less lighthearted. I'd
Yeah.
like to think. Like
Yeah.
they weren't. They were done and just to get a good laugh, to make people happy.
Yeah, Nyan Nyan Cat and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then you've got the Reddit memes, which tend to be a little bit more complicated and usually are more of insult, like an insult comic kind of, where it's meant to put someone down to get a good chuckle, things like that.
Yeah.
And then the Facebook memes I just can't stand because it's all just stock images with words splattered across the front.
Oh yeah, those are 2012 memes. Nowadays we just look for beans. Also, that's interesting. It interests me how we communicate through less and less and less words through every meme as days go by. Like 2012 is like it was like
It used to be entire comic panels. Now
Yeah.
you're lucky to get more than 2 words in a picture.
we just get howdy. That's it. That's all you get. And it still makes you laugh. Like what?
Picture of a SCP crouched over a bowl of cereal and it just says cornflake and it's misspelled. And die laughing at it.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about. Oh gosh, it's a weird time we're living in.
I
And
feel like a well-timed meme can be very effective.
yes,
at
definitely.
Humor.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like I can't think of memes really contributing to anything besides humor in a meaningful way.
No, yeah,
Like,
that's
I
true.
couldn't picture a non-humorous meme
Skid the
meant to,
hell, skidoodle.
show support for, someone getting bowel cancer.
Oh gosh. No.
They seem to be only humor. Is
No,
there any
actually-
sort of
No,
meme
there
that
have
is
been some
humor?
memes. There have been some memes that have actually kind of helped because I know that back in 2018, I believe it was, there was actually a meme which is called Earth-chan, which yes, at face value it seems very weird and very odd, but it was actually a meme that helped people kind of raise awareness of climate change and stuff like that. So
Back in
yes,
the prehistoric year of 2018.
yeah. But yes, memes have actually been used for good, and I do remember that. And I know back when Pokemon Go was a thing, it was also used as a meme for good because people were going out, they were exercising, they were meeting new people. Yes, some bad things happened, but usually the meme Pokemon Go was very friendly. So I do know those examples.
Niantic just finally settled a lawsuit about Pokemon Go.
Why is that?
A whole bunch of really angry people that, as far as I can tell, lived in Florida, sued Niantic because they were sick of waking up, going out on their condo balconies, and seeing hundreds of teenagers walking around stumbling things on the beach.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's interesting because when you think about it, the definition of meme, which I have pulled up here, is according to Merriam-Webster, a definition of a meme is an idea, a behavior, a style, or a usage that spreads from person to person within a culture. Cultures can be anything from like your little group at school to the entire world, so I guess that's what it means. It's also saying that it is an amusing or interesting item, such as a caption, picture, or video, or genre of items that is spread widely online, especially through social media, which I guess is its own little culture.
See, I mean, obviously, I guess that could be considered a different dialect of meme, but I don't consider things like those memes. It's really hard to pin down what is a meme, but
It's just a
like,
phenomenon.
I watched this one YouTuber, and occasionally he's got this other guy that plays with him, and he just calls things memes. Like, someone will shoot someone else in one of their games with a gun that makes them sick and then eventually die. And he'll say, "Oh, I just got shot with the influenza meme." No, you got shot with the influenza pistol. It's not a meme.
Well, I mean, it is an idea, behavior, or usage, so it falls under definition when you think about it. It's a very broad definition because I mean the term meme has existed since before 1980, I believe, but it really got popular when social media was like turning into its own little culture because it was something. Because like usually when you have a meme in the back in the day, you only had a meme like maybe at school or maybe it was a funny joke between your friends. And when you think about it, the definition of a meme is really just an inside joke that can be shared from your peer next door to the entire world. It's just an inside joke that everyone gets.
Where do you think memes started? I mean, obviously, I don't think they just sprouted up on the
Oh,
internet.
that's actually something else I
know
researched.
A lot of people talk about the
Kilroy.
old motivationals. Where those words started?
No, actually, some of the first instances of a quote-unquote meme, according to the definition, was World War II, with a meme called Kilroy was here. What the purpose of this quote, it wasn't called a meme back in the day, it was more of a phenomenon, but basically if you saw Kilroy and it was just a circle guy, actually let me just pull him up. Let me just look up Kilroy, and the name suggests something very gruesome, but it is not. I'm telling you, Kilroy was here. Let me just see if I can find an image. Yeah, there's many instances of this. So, give me a second. Basically what this was, Kilroy was it was kind of a... Oh, does it work? Oh, there you go. Okay, so it was more of a cultural phenomenon, whereas soldiers in World War II would put that on the walls of where they were, and if you as a citizen saw that, that means that the area you were in was safe, and that the soldiers there had won, that you were okay,
so
you
it
were
was
fine.
the concept of a meme before memes existed.
Yes, I'm not sure if you can see that on screen now, actually. I've tried searching it up. What you're seeing on screen now is actually Kilroy. That's the meme that people would see, and there's more instances around here. This one is a very bold one. This one's Kilroy was here was a meme that was usually seen on walls and stuff, and that's actually one of the first instances that I know of a meme. Here's a more...
That explains a lot, because I remember in like old Bugs Bunny and Tom and Jerry cartoons, things like that, I used to see Kilroy was here all over the place, but I never understood it.
So what it means, the definition of that meme was that you're okay, and that whoever was there is also okay. That everything's okay because Kilroy's now here, because like Kilroy was here. So it's more of a good luck charm kind of meme, and that's kind of the earliest instance of a meme in World War II. So yeah, that's actually something that I wanted to talk about, and you actually brought it up perfectly.
I do remember that even if they weren't called memes back then, there was, I think it was a geneticist in, I want to say, the early 70s, and he was supposed to have been the first person who actually used the word
meme.
And I don't know if it's just coincidence or if the word has evolved to what it is now, but his word meme originally is a multi-syllable word that was trying to combine gene, like from genetic, and mime to mimic, because he'd found some gene that could like replicate or some such thing. So he was trying to come up with a word for a gene that could replicate, and he originally called it like mime or something.
So he invented cancer. No, I'm just kidding.
Pretty much. But
sorry.
He wanted a word that was easier to say, so he just said meme.
Okay.
As a word that means something that is reproduced and spread widely and rapidly.
Interesting. So what about you, Venom? Is there any instance that you remember of any early meme? Or if you can't answer that question, I have a backup question. What is the first meme you remember discovering? Like when you were a kid and you were on the internet for the first time and there was a whole new world, but like what was the first meme that you remember viewing and knowing that this is a meme? What brought you to meme world?
So the meme that I knew of, technically I know at the time it wasn't a meme, but was Kilroy.
Oh, so you know Kilroy.
But the like first meme that got me into it was Velociraptor. I remember that actually.
Oh wow!
That was a good one.
Wow,
Velociraptor. I love the
Velociraptor.
Velociraptor in the original Doge, like not the.
Wow, Doge, yeah. Geez, that was a smart dog. It was Wisdom Dog, wasn't it? No, Wisdom Dog is an entire different meme. What about yours, Squeebers? Do you remember which one? Hello?
Well, I can remember a few things that at the time weren't memes, but I guess are considered memes now, if slightly unfunny or like the whole concept of ASL used to just be something you typed when you were in a chat room. Yeah, just ASL. That's how you got to know the people in the chat room. Age, sex, location.
Oh.
And it was just common back then. You pop into a chat room, you see there's 50 other people in there. You all want to play Pop It or whatever, and you type ASL. But now it's kind of a meme that you type ASL when you're talking to someone, when you get to know someone.
Yeah.
But at the time it wasn't one, so I guess that doesn't count. I think my first one probably would have been, yeah, I guess probably the Rage comics.
Wow, the Rage comics of all the memes. Jeez, those were...
Yeah, like Me Gusta and things like that.
Me gusta. You know, I think the first one, which is weird because I remember the Rage comics, but I think the first meme, I think I remember the order of memes in which I learned about memes, because the first concept of a meme was so foreign to me. The first meme I ever saw was Nyan Cat, the famous rainbow pooping Pop-Tart.
I never got that one. Never understood it.
That's why I loved it, though. That was exactly why I loved it, because I never understood it. It was just baffling to me, but I loved it. I don't know. It was just weirdly...
It was very popular when I used to play Second Life. And
Yes.
Second Life being the kind of game it is, every single person in there had a gun or a cannon or something that would shoot Nyan Cats.
Yeah, I think even Terraria has one. No, Terraria has a sword that shoots Nyan Cats.
I hated it. They were everywhere. You couldn't avoid Nyan Cats.
I loved it. And I remember, like, after Nyan Cat, I was in the rabbit hole, and after that, my second meme, I believe, was Minecraft, which, interesting. But I remember after that, it was because there was so many Nyan Cat Minecraft stuff back in the day, and, oh yeah, it was the Mad TV show. Do you remember the Mad TV show on Cartoon Network?
On Cartoon Network? No.
They used to have a TV show that was literally just Mad. It was just like Robot Chicken, but for kids. And one of the episodes was CSI Minecraft. And that was like, yeah, it was a weird episode back in the day, but it was really interesting to me. I don't know why, I just got sucked into it.
I can't fathom that Minecraft is considered back in the day now.
Yeah, it's...
How old am I?
Oh, how old am I? Well, I remember playing it back when it came out, and now just like 10 years later, people are still playing it. It baffles me. People are still playing it.
I'm still playing it.
Yeah,
I
no,
got a world with temples and a city and everything right now.
Oh no, I'm still playing it too, but it's still like, it's such a phenomenon. How many games can... I mean, games that have persisted that long are games like Tetris or something. But...
World of Warcraft.
It's not really, not to the extent of Minecraft.
Isn't it though? I mean, in its prime, WoW had over 12 million people
Wow.
subscribed to it. Yeah.
How
I
many?
mean, even now that they're in their waning years, most recently they were down to like 4 or 5 million subscribers, but that's still 4 or 5 million people paying 10, 15 bucks a month.
Yeah, that's true. I guess that
It's
is
giving
true.
Blizzard enough money to buy Activision and Call of Duty.
Oh yeah, you're right. It was interesting how everything happened.
But you're right, there are those rare games that, and just the one as well, not like a series or sequels or reboots or whatever, that just one game is able to live for a decade.
Actually, wasn't there a game like that other than Minecraft? There was another game. TF2?
Fortress 2. Yeah, TF2. You can't leave that one out there.
Yeah, TF2's still going.
I mean,
Dota's still going.
I mean, it's still... No, I mean, Dota, yeah, but like... TF2 is going, but I need to admit, it's fun, and I will still play it for maybe 10 more years of my life.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's still able to live. It's still just carrying on the way it always has.
it's just kind of running on fumes at this point, let's be honest.
You think?
A little bit. I mean, it's still going to be played 10 to 15 years later, just not to the extent or popularity that it is right now.
Rumors
Do you
actually
think-
Sorry.
What was it?
Rumors actually lately, I don't know if they're true or not. The Valve News Network guy on YouTube actually released a video on it.
Yeah.
They were... I've heard stuff about the heavy update coming out soon.
Uh-huh. The heavy update.
Yeah. So if that does come out, then I feel like that will revamp the game. Because I know
Probably.
Jungle Inferno basically just skyrocketed it.
Oh yeah, Jungle Inferno really brought people back. I remember I started like 2018, and people. I started playing TF2. I've wanted to play it ever since I was a kid, but I never had a computer. When I finally got one in 2018, the first thing I booted up was TF2, and I was like, wow, this is an entirely new game. And it was insane because that was around the time, a little bit after Jungle Inferno, after the update after that one, after Jungle Inferno. And
The Blue Moon update?
I think it was a Blue Moon update, yeah. And it was just insane. Like, the number of people were playing it, I was like, wow, people are still playing this game. I just thought it always was like that. But no, I found out later that it was the update. I was like, wow.
I've only ever played one game of TF2.
Man, you really need to play TF2. We need to play a game
It just
together.
never interested me.
It's fun, though. I mean, it doesn't look interesting, but trust me, trust me, I know exactly what you're talking about because I was the same way too, but it will change your life.
Like, I remember I poked my head in, dipped my toes in the pool, got into a match, ran around on some, like, desert mining town cliff
Dust Bowl.
face for a little bit, and then just left and never thought about it again.
Oh man, that sucks.
Match was Dust Bowl? Really?
You do not leave TF2 after Dust Bowl because Dust Bowl is debatably a pretty weird map.
And the only reason I ever even tried it was because I trust Valve, so I know anything they put their hands on is gonna be solid.
No, it's
That
actually
just
like really
wasn't
solid.
solid gold for me.
No, it's pretty solid. I mean, it's still going strong, so yeah. I think that speaks volume of it.
I've met over probably. It's one thing too. TF2 just allows you to meet a lot of people. That's where I met you, actually.
Yeah,
Kat. That's where I met
Yeah,
you.
we were on the Hightower server. my favorite memory of that Hightower server was when I reverse trolldered a trollder as a demo pan. I still remember that moment. I think I recorded it actually. I need to find it somewhere. Yeah. But it's interesting how even games like that help us communicate to one another. Because back in the day, you would probably just go out, you would go to the corner, and you would probably meet someone in the store. Nowadays, you have to go online, play a game, probably meet a friend.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Probably meet a friend, and it's a great big old probably because, again, the whole several degrees of separation where they don't have to worry about you punching them in the teeth for being stupid.
Which is why a lot of stuff happens.
Yeah, it means the majority of people are just total butt munches.
Well, sadly. What about
I'm
you?
kind of interested thinking about that disconnect between like spoken and written.
Well, it's because the recesses of your mind are much more active when you are outside, but you block them out because you know, hey, I don't want to get punched in the face. But when you're online, like, what's the risk? They'll report you. Sure, you might get your account banned. Just make a new account and you're done. End of story.
That's true.
Yeah, sadly.
And also, especially with written communication versus
Yeah,
spoken, whether it's to face
sadly.
or not, in written, you have time to sit and think before you type.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's not fair to judge someone if they flub while talking or if they stutter or something. But it's absolutely fair to judge someone if they mess up while typing.
Well, ow.
You had every opportunity. There's even a big old backspace button, bigger than any other button on the keyboard.
Didn't you say that was too much for you?
Don't worry about that.
What about you, Venom? How's your online experience been throughout your life? Have you found it, like, has it been okay? Has it been kind of negative? Has it been kind of weird?
Well, when I first started, my first game was actually Wizard 101. I remember that.
Wow. Wizard 101.
Wizard 101, and then my friend Chase, he showed me TF2, and I immediately fell in love.
Wow, how long have you been playing
Had-
TF2?
I probably had over 2,000 hours on it.
Wow.
I got my account hacked, and I lost over probably $500 worth of stuff.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
And so there was a long time. Yeah, no, it's past now, but it's been a long time since it was a while before I started playing on Steam again.
Yeah, I haven't really touched Steam lately. Just haven't been able to. It's weird how, like, you can still be busy IRL and my god, I just say IRL in real life, and still not be able to talk to people even online because you just get so involved. And people nowadays, you don't talk to them for 5 minutes, and they're like, "Oh, you're so antisocial." But back in the day, you had to wait a week till you saw me again, and you'd be like, "Oh man, it hasn't been that long. It's only been a week." But nowadays, you just spend 5 minutes apart, and they're like, "Oh my god, we're so antisocial."
Yeah, it's lots have changed.
Yeah. What do you think about that,
Lots
Squeebers?
have changed.
I feel like we come back to the same topic pretty much every week, but the ease with which people are able to communicate, I feel like it devalues the communications in a way.
Mm.
Because, and this kind of ties back into what I was saying earlier, there's differences between written language and spoken language. Written's typically more formal, it's asynchronous,
Yeah.
if you understand that meaning.
Emails.
But-
Back when you only had emails and had to write everything super formally.
Yeah. And then when you speak, it's more informal, it's more of a conveying meanings rather than just literal words. And people, I feel, when everything was done through text, whether through email, written letter, or whatever, if you wanted to speak to someone at a distance, you had to make sure it's easily understood. You had to make sure it conveyed everything you wanted. You had to, this was your opportunity. You were getting your letter sent to your cousin across the sea or whatever.
Yeah.
So you wanted to be impressive. You wanted to use fluffy words. Good punctuation and grammar.
Mm-hmm.
But now, when you're able to send 300 texts in a minute,
People are
all
super
of that
fun.
disappears. Yeah, it's all about just cut to the chase. FYI, LOL, OMFG, WTF. Just
Yeah.
get it in, get it out, get done. And I feel like people don't value it as much. Like, if I got a written letter from my grandma, I would value it so much more than if she sent me 300 texts this afternoon.
Yeah, actually, that's something that people are actually doing again. A lot of people, from what I've seen, are starting to go back to just writing letters by hand because it's way more valuable for them. Yes, it costs more postage and stamps, but they're doing it usually to friends that they find very close. And sometimes, the good thing about that is that sometimes you can have like actual written art or maybe a poem or something, or maybe just send like a book or something physically. But a lot of people are actually going back to that because of the reason you're saying.
Written correspondence is just,
It took
it
effort.
carries so much more weight. Yeah, it took effort. It really requires you to sit there and think about what you're saying, how best to describe what you want to describe, because you're not going to have the chance once it's sent to send another one going, oops, never mind, LOL, backspace.
There's no backspace in letters.
Yeah, it's going to go, it's going to be received, and it's going to be read the way you sent it,
Yeah.
and then responded. It's just, there's so much more valuable.
Yeah,
It
there's
is
a lot more
time
to it.
consuming, but I mean,
That's what makes it
where
worth
does
it.
the value come from? Yeah.
Yeah. What would you say about that, Venom? Do you you agree with that statement, or do you think you have your own opinion on it?
I personally, the only experience I've had with being forced to write letters to my grandma and stuff like that, and so personally, I would not want to start doing letters again. I have horrible handwriting, so
Mhm.
that's the main reason I like that is because I have horrible handwriting. I get made fun of it wherever I go.
I feel
But-
that one. No, I
Not
feel
want to
you.
go back to
Yeah.
letters. Just a personal thing.
No, I
I
understand.
enjoy letters, I think, because I treat all and it's probably because I was raised in the era of if you wanted to talk to someone, it was either email or a letter. And then eventually we had instant messenger like AIM and MSN.
I remember, I have bad memories. I mean, I would totally write a letter if need be, and I actually do like writing letters once in a while. I like rhyming and stuff, so I'd probably make you like a Shakespeare book. I'll probably make a Dr. Seuss letter if I had the chance, but I just don't have good memories of handwriting because back when I was in school, you have to handwrite everything super fast, so my hand would cramp a lot. And that was
Yeah,
just
that is a problem.
Yeah, hand
Hand
cramp.
cramps aren't fun.
Yeah, and back in my school, you had to like write 3,000 words in a minute, so you can
See,
imagine.
maybe that's where I get it from as well, because I was raised, my first 6 years, I went to a Catholic school. So we didn't have computers or anything. Everything was handwritten. Everything
Yeah.
was
I'm sorry.
hand posted.
Yeah.
So I'm used to very slow correspondence, not like quick instant message
Yeah,
texts.
same here. Okay, so to everyone watching right now, this is my own personal opinion, but back when I was studying, all the way up to 12th grade, till graduation, till like the end of high school, I had zero computer work. If anything, a PowerPoint or something.
Really?
Maybe a PowerPoint or something once or twice, but I never like most of my work, if not all of it, most of it, some of it was on computer, but about 99% of it was handwritten papers with like 5 to 10, maybe sometimes 25 pages of just handwritten handwritten report.
So where did the interest in computers and technology?
I don't know, man. I just see people complaining nowadays like, "Oh, my school doesn't have the best computers," or "My school has very slow computers." I'm like, "You had computers?" I'm like, "What?" Back up a
My
bit.
school had one computer, and it was an administrative computer.
Oh.
And they had to wheel it out and bring it into the classroom.
Oh my
before
god, the
me after I broke
wheels.
my hand.
Oh my god, the wheels here.
Yeah. I broke my hand, and they had it on a big cart, and they
Oh
just
my
squeaked it
God.
down the hall, rolled it into the classroom, and I had to tighten it.
Oh my gosh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Oof. The memories. I do remember though, we did have a computer class when I was a kid. It was, yeah, it was like from 2nd grade to like 5th grade, but I remember when we were working in Windows XP with CRTs in like these enormous I mean like the really big CRTs. And like these, do you remember the desks that were made specifically for CRT monitors with desktop computers? Like
Oh yeah.
there were like desks made specifically for that. And you had floppy disks, and you had all kinds of stuff, really early 3D graphics, a book.
At my school, because we didn't have any computers, whenever the school finally gathered the money, they hired this. It was basically an RV, the big fancy bus, and it had been retrofitted to have one aisle down the middle and then computers along the walls.
Yes,
And
that's what I'm
we
saying.
would all get to go sit in the bus and like play math for kids games or whatever for 20 minutes.
Yeah, that was the same thing. I had the exact same thing. You remember?
We were all
Do you remember? Oh god, what was it called? Space Galaxy or something?
I probably would. I bet you I could remember all those games if I saw them.
Let me see if I can find it. Hold up. Pastor XP.
But I think that's changed how I communicate as well, because now I find myself speaking very slow much of the time. Like, I use a lot of pauses and holds whenever I'm talking, and treat texts and instant messages the same way I used to treat emails. You know, I'll check them once, maybe twice a day, if even.
I'm trying to find. I had very specific type of book that was just. It wasn't like the typical kind of book. It was a very short and very wide book that had a disc at the end, and they were like dinos and very weird 3D models. Let me see if I can find it. Okay.
I really got my communication skills messed with when I was learning writing back then, because the couple of weeks where I'd broken my hand were the weeks where we were learning how to write cursive.
Yeah.
So they wheeled my computer in and just had me type everything, which I feel goes completely against the spirit of cursive.
Yeah.
So my handwriting has always been terrible because of that.
No, I think I know what you're talking about. And actually, I remember we had to write cursive all the time back in the day, and nowadays we just don't use cursive anymore. They just don't teach it.
Yeah, no one bothers.
Wow, but I just remember I used to have to write cursive and fast. I remember that. I can't find the book I used to have about computers and stuff, but it's weird. It was a very weird book, which is why I can't find it. Sorry.
Do they still have computer classes in schools, like to teach typing and things like that?
I think the kids are the teachers.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Because even when I was in middle school, we had a computer class where we had to learn how to type quickly and type accurately.
Oh no. What about you, Venom? What's your experience been with computers when you were a kid? Did you have like computer classes and stuff?
Yeah, I did have computer classes. I went to school about the time that computers were being normalized.
Hmm.
Just a normal thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So I do remember the
Did they
typing
have typing classes?
classes. I actually went to school like literally I was probably one of the last like classes to be taught cursive.
Really?
Cursive, I mean
So
cursive
sad.
anymore. Yeah, they don't teach cursive anymore apparently.
Yeah. Interesting.
I'm
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know how to write my name in cursive. That's about it. That's all I can remember.
Yeah.
I
I don't
remember.
remember most of the capital letters, but I can write the rest of it.
Oh, I can totally write cursive. I've been writing cursive ever since I can remember. So interesting. Do you think any day? I mean, I actually do use cursive to this day. If you look at my signatures on some of my drawings, they have like a cursive signature. So yeah, I think that's where it persists nowadays on me.
My signature is literally just one curvy line.
Yeah.
I've boiled it down over the years.
Yeah. What about you, Venom? Do you still use cursive?
Uh, Cursive now is when I have to sign like contracts for school and stuff like that.
Mm.
See, that's something that annoys me as well, is signatures, because people always assume, try to enforce that a signature is your name, but in cursive. But
It's a
that's
mess.
not what a signature is. A signature is a unique identifier that you draw. Like, it could be a little picture of a house if you wanted your signature to be a little picture of a house. It could be, I used to have when I worked at Domino's, this cop would always order. And when he signed the receipt, his signature was just a circle.
Hmm.
Like, in my signature, it's just a slightly squiggly line.
Yeah. No.
And every now and then people will tell me like, "Oh no, you have to actually sign. That is my signature. That's what you sign like official paperwork with." Yeah.
It's like this is official, isn't it?
If I wanted my signature to just be my first name in, regular script, non-cursive, then it could be. Signature is whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, my mom. When my mom signs, she just makes a spider web. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about because none of what she writes or signs has any resemblance to any letter known to man.
Just squiggle on it for a bit. Done.
Yeah, yeah. It's literally it.
If anyone asks later, "Is this your signature?" Probably.
Probably. What about you,
It's
Venom?
kind of like what I do.
Do you use a lot of signatures? Like, do you sign a lot? Like, do you have a signature you would say is legible?
I would say so.
Mm.
It's just I'm in cursive. I was taught to always write my name in cursive for my signature. Otherwise, I probably would have just a circle or something like that as mine.
I always resent people who have really fancy signatures that just look really nice and have like different shapes and sizes in them.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Irritates me. It's like, all right, fancy pants, put it away.
They can't help it. Well, anyway, I think that's about enough for tonight. I know this is a bit of a shorter one, but I actually am a little short for time on this one, so I'm sorry to everyone watching on YouTube.
You're a little short overall.
Shut up. Oh, why is it not working? What the heck? What's going on?
It's broken again.
I don't
That's
know.
good. We brought it full circle.
It's
Okay.
it's supposed to be looping. It's not looping. Okay. Anyway, I want to thank you all for coming here. Thank you so much to Venom and to Squeebers for being on. It's been a very interesting topic, and I know this topic wasn't super in depth, but it was definitely an interesting one to touch. Come on, Kat, you can do this.
You're almost there.
I'm almost there. And
Gotcha.
what? Sorry. Sorry.
Nothing. Never mind.
Oh, Oh, Subconscious Rift, thank you so much for the follow. I'm so glad to have you on. Hopefully you enjoyed the podcast. Anyway, I want to thank all you guys as well for joining, and hopefully you have a wonderful night. If you have any suggestions for next week's topic, please let us know down below. And other than that, hopefully you have fun, and have a good night, everyone. Now let me just see if there's anyone we can raid. I believe...
Goodbye
Oh,
from
actually,
Squee.
yes,
I never get to say my goodbyes anymore. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Yes, well, there's someone we can raid, so I will send you all soon over there. Hopefully you all have a good night. And thank you guys so much for being on. You guys are amazing. So, goodbye.